Alrighty, party peoples of the interwebs, Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler, in my home office at an airport hangar type thing, so you might hear some noise in the backdrop. If you didn't have nearly 4 hours to watch along with me the RFK Jr. confirmation hearings before the Senate Financial Committee, whatever it was today, I'll summarize it in one word: corporate pharma shilling whores. That's 4 words, but that's what it was. These things are very, very irritating to watch. On the one hand, look, it's what it is. The Republicans are not there to grill and humiliate RFK Jr. They're there more to ask questions and allow RFK Jr. to shine because he's Trump's pick. The Republicans, in theory, should get behind Trump's picks, so the rhinos who are hedging and hemming and hawing over Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Kash Patel, you better understand which people you represent and what you were elected to do. But set that aside. The Republicans are there to make RFK Jr. look good. Ask him questions like open-ended questions. You're often called a conspiracy theorist. Are you a conspiracy theorist? And RFK Jr. had a great answer to that question. I'm called one as a pejorative, but I'm right more often than I'm wrong, as are most of us so-called conspiracy theorists. Where it gets insulting to human intelligence to watch is when the Democrat big pharma whore shills that they are get up there and shill for big pharma in their questions. They don't actually ask any questions. You'll be shocked to observe if you go watch this. They got 5 minutes in theory, although the committee head, the chair, whoever was, conducting this thing today, let them go well beyond their 5 minutes. They don't actually ask questions. They grandstand like a bunch of jackasses, they bombard like a bunch of jackasses, and they throw out defamatory accusations like a bunch of jackasses. Now, I'm very bad with names. So if I've remembered a name of a senator today, it's either for a very good reason or for a very bad reason. And surprise, surprise, on the side of the capital D Democrats, the capital L liberals, the capital P progressives, I remember some names, and it's for bad reasons. First person is a guy named Wyden, who I say it's funny, his name rhymes with Biden, his name rhymes with Leiden, comes out there and just throws out accusatory smears against RFK Jr. Accuses RFK Jr. of being responsible for the measles outbreak in American Samoa, or was it Hawaii? I forget where exactly, Hawaii or the American Samoa. Blaming RFK Jr. for people allegedly having died from measles after having allegedly refused to get the measles vaccines, allegedly because of RFK Jr.'s involvement. And he had a blistering answer to that accusation, which I will share with you at the end of this video. That was one of the top 3 events of the day. Wyden, smear campaign, bullcrap accusations. I put out a tweet just, responding to 3 lies that Wyden said in his opening statement. Another one who lied through her teeth, Pocahontas, you got it, Elizabeth Warren, gets out there and graciously asks RFK Jr. a question which allows him to confirm in no uncertain terms that he will not take a paid gig with Pharma for 4 years after he is Secretary of HHS, Health and Human Services. He was quick to add, Big Pharma ain't rushing behind him to give him loads of money, unlike other people such as Elizabeth Warren. Now, understand the hypocrisy of this. She says, all right, RFK Jr., you won't take money from Big Pharma as, former director of HHS for 4 years afterwards. Will you continue suing Big Pharma? Because appreciate, RFK Jr. finds, not recruits, but finds people with claims and has an agreement with a law firm where he gets something of a commission for successful lawsuits against Big Pharma. And she said, well, will you continue doing that? And he was like, you want me to stop suing Big Pharma? Why would you want me to do that? Elizabeth Warren, lying Pocahontas, who's more not Indian, Native American than I would dare say myself. Why would she want him to undertake not to sue Big Pharma? Might it be because Big Pharma contributes to her campaign? So I go and I ask Grok and I pull up the resources. And yeah, lo and behold, Big Pharma donated to Elizabeth Warren's campaign. Not just Big Pharma, by the way, because Pharma can't do it themselves. They have to do it through independent donors. The Sackler family donated to Elizabeth Warren. Purdue Pharma, a family that's responsible for having killed over 1 million Americans, donated to Elizabeth Warren's campaign. She was literally funded by Big Pharma mass murderers. Now she's trying to get RFK Jr. to undertake to stop holding Big Pharma accountable for their nefarious, disastrous consequences of their products. All right, make it make sense. It can only make sense because they are all a bunch of Big Pharma shill whores. Another one, Tina Smith, who gets up there and praises SSRIs. Now, again, I'm not one to say that people should not take SSRIs, serotonin serum reuptake inhibitor. Can't remember what it is exactly offhand, but it's antidepressants, psychopharmaceutical drugs intended to treat mental issues. Of course, some people clinically need them. Of course, America is overdiagnosed, and in apparently not just defending Big Pharma, but selling their products through a Senate confirmation hearing, Tina Snyder comes out and says, yeah, I took SSRIs. It helped me focus. It helped me get through what I was going through. And casting aspersions on RFK Jr. for not drawing a connection of causality, but drawing a connection of correlation to school shooters and psychotropic medications, which are widely and wildly overprescribed for children. Lo and behold, who do you think funds Tina Snyder's campaigns? Big Pharma. It's out there in the open, and they don't think people are smart enough to look because by and large, they're idiot base. They're propagandized, brain-dead, brainwashed base who don't want to give credence to RFK Jr., who don't want to give credence to Trump. They would rather believe a lie, and they would rather shut their eyes than just open, just a little wink, and go ask Grok some questions. What were some of the other highlights of the day? That was basically it. It was abusing of your platform to grandstand, defame with the immunity that comes from being a senator, because after all, they are immune from defamation. They have immunity while they complain about Trump having presidential immunity. So they get out there, call RFK Jr. an anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist, blame him for a measles outbreak that he had absolutely nothing to do with. And they do it with impunity and with immunity, and they're happy to do it. So all said, it was a great confirmation hearing. RFK Jr., he might have not necessarily flip-flopped, but what's the point in having a mind if you don't change it from time to time? He might have said some things that I'm sure he regrets now. Not necessarily regrets because it's politically inconvenient, but regrets because he has evolved, he has learned more, and he has understood the error in those positions. Sure, but he is a good man. As far as I know, and when Robert Barnes, my Viva and Barnes Law for the People Sunday night law extravaganza, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, when Barnes comes out and says RFK Jr. is among the most respected, respectable men with integrity, kind, good souls, trustworthy, I tend to trust Robert Barnes. Now, with that said, tomorrow, as at the time of shooting this, Tulsi Gabbard, we're going to watch that. It's going to be another public excoriation, grandstanding from the Democrats, and allowing Tulsi to shine from the Republicans. We'll see how this goes, but Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. had better get confirmed, lest the rhinos who vote against them forget who it is that they represent. That is it. That is the Viva summary, and I'm going to loop in some clips right now and then read some choice tweets that I had throughout the day. If you want to watch along, Viva Frei on Rumble, the Viva Frei on Twitter, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. You can get some merch at vivafrei.com, and I'm also a published child book author. Louis the Lobster Returns to the Sea is available on Amazon. Get a copy. It's a great story, and who has ever regretted buying a children's book? Now you know your blog, people. Peace out.
Citing the Trump administration, and you're just going to follow what they say. Is that what you're doing? You're just a rubber stamp for them in this position? So anybody, so it doesn't matter that you're before us. It could be anybody coming before us, as long as they're a rubber stamp for this administration and disregarding your beliefs and what you think. I guess my question to you is, if it really is fundamental to what you believe, how do you live with that? How do you address those issues as you're moving forward, knowing that it's going to harm Americans? Yeah.
You want me to answer the question?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay.
She just said no.
Trump asked me. Let me explain what happened in Samoa. In Samoa in 2017 or 2015, there were 2 kids who died following the MMR vaccine. And the vaccination rates in Samoa dropped precipitously from about 63% to the mid-30s, so they've never been very high. And in 2018, 2 more kids died following the MMR vaccine, and the government of Samoa banned the MMR vaccine. I arrived a year later when vaccination rates were already below any previous level. I went there, nothing to do with vaccines. I went there to introduce a medical informatics system that would digitalize records in Samoa and make health delivery much more efficient. I never gave any public statement about vaccines. You cannot find a single Samoan who will say, I didn't get a vaccine because of Bobby Kennedy. I went in June of 2019. The measles outbreak started in August. Oh, clearly I had nothing to do with the measles. Not only that,
Mr. Kennedy,
Senator, not only that, if you let me finish, Senator.
You have had some time,
If you let me finish, Senator, if you let me finish, there are 83 people died when the tissue samples were sent to New Zealand. Most of those people did not have measles. We don't know what was killing them. The same outbreak occurred in Tonga and Fiji, and no extra people died. There were 7 measles outbreaks in the 13 years prior to my arrival.
I just would like to get my time back.
That you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look.
Holy crap, now we've got Senator Tina Smith MN shilling for Big Pharma SSRIs. Any guess as to who has donated to her campaigns? Yup, Pharma. Hey, @eWarren, you asked some good questions of RFK Jr., and you got him to confirm that he won't take any compensation from pharma companies after being Secretary of HHS. May I ask who donates to your campaigns? And if you look down, Pharma. And last but not least, almost the best. Oh, and the Sackler family, Big Pharma mass murderers, donated to Elizabeth Warren. Resign @eWarren.
Mr. Kennedy, this is personal for me. When I was a young woman and I was struggling with depression, thankfully, I had the resources to help me get through it, including a new generation of SSRI uptake inhibitors, which helped to clear my mind, get me back on track to being a mom and a wife and a productive, happy person. And I'm really grateful for that therapy. So I have some experience with this, and I think that everyone should have access to that care. And your job as secretary is to expand access to care, not to spread lies and misinformation. And you know, the things that you say, Mr. Kennedy, they live on. They have impact. And you know, we're having this conversation at the same moment that my Republican colleagues are looking to try to figure out how to save money any way they can. And so they want to cut Medicaid. Let's just think about this for a minute, because you're going to be, should you be confirmed, you would be responsible for CMS, which provides mental and behavioral health care to millions of Americans. Close to 40% of folks on Medicaid have a behavioral health condition. And you would be part of this administration that would be looking to cut Medicaid. So, Mr. Kennedy, these statements that you've made linking antidepressants to school shootings, they reinforce the stigma that people who experience mental health every day face every single day. And I'm very concerned that this is another example of your record of sharing false and misleading information that actually really hurts people.
Senator, you're mischaracterizing my